mentor through the Peacemaker Corp and his really pushy aggressiveness and wanting me to have a positive life, I got on track. I took the LSATs and got into a bunch of law schools and chose to move to New York and get away from it all. And so here I am.
Shortly after, I enrolled at the Art Institute of California, where I got my associate's degree and I received my bachelor's degree in graphic design. And now I'm currently a freelance graphic designer. And anybody that needs some design, let me know.
That was started in 1979, so it's been operational for over 30 years. And what I learned from my experiences running that rink in Los Angeles is that young people can come, older people, people who are used to having violence in their street, gang members, and they all came to play in a comfortable environment that we created.
And I understand that there was not much violence there.
None. There was never any violence inside the facility. There was a lot of respect we gave those young people, and I learned that self-esteem and learning to cooperate was the underpinnings of reducing violence. Many years later, I was working as a volunteer running an organization at the United Nations, and I wanted to develop, under the direction of the Secretary General at that time, Kofi Annan, a way to create peace and tolerance in the world. And I thought about the experience at World on Wheels in LA 20 years earlier and realized that I had really witnessed a paradigm change that could happen everywhere.
Now, I understand the international violence was an issue back in the 90s, and you managed to take your experience with World on Wheels and create a program called the Peacemaker Corp. Can you please explain or tell us a little bit about how that managed to occur, how that happened, and your experiences with the development of the program?
Using the bully pulpit of the United Nations, I was able to come to the government of the United States and say, let's use this model of bringing youth into a safe environment, teaching them self-esteem and cooperation in a place where they not only or always would be going.
So I understand there was a lot of violence in the mid-90s internationally, and there were certainly some riots in the United States. And your experience with World on Wheels promoted you to create the Peacemaker Corp. I understand that you used experts and that you had government assistance. Tell us about how you developed the Peacemaker program in the 90s.
We put together a team with HUD, because the youth would come from housing authorities, Dr. Robert Harris of the University of Virginia, and a company that kept the peace in public housing, who were like CIA, police people. And then we met for a year and talked about how to put this interactive kind of fun environment similar to modeling after the roller rink, and came up with a program that we could do it very quickly, 2 days, and bring a lot of kids together in a fun environment and teach them self-esteem, self-worth, and most of all, cooperation.
And this program, I understand you took to 13 different cities across the United States and was very successful.
Yes, we 11 states, 13 cities. It went very well in every place we were. And the follow-up, everybody who was interviewed and said they changed their lives.
And you were welcomed in every city because this is something that they truly needed back in the 1990s, correct?
Yes, after the Rodney King riots in LA and Columbine in Denver, it was everywhere.
And recently, of course, there was an incident in Chicago that was horrible, where a youth was beaten up and then gasoline was poured over his body and he was set on fire. This is sort of the last straw, is it not?
This is the last straw because it was televised and we have vision of it. Youth get murdered every day in our communities. As a matter of fact, the World Health Organization in their report says more women and children are killed by violence than all diseases put together in this world. It's about time that we stop it.
Well, let's go back to the program Peacemaker. I understand that the Peacemaker program, like you said, had an ambassadorship program. Tell me a little bit about that.
The last thing we teach these young people is how to take our idea and bring it into their community, sort of pay it forward, as we are now calling it, to go out into the community as peacemakers and talk to other youth and adults about behavior they may see that is not appropriate.
So this is not just a program for 50 youths, this is a program that affects the entire community.
Yes, if you listened and read some of the interviews of the families after the program, the parents say their children have changed, their siblings say their relationships have changed, their relationships in school have changed, their goals in life have changed. Leslie, who was a teacher, she was a trainer that we trained, taught youth how to, in our program. It affected her so much that she decided to go back to school, get a law degree, and now she's a lawyer practicing law in New York City.
Wonderful. Sounds like you've had a great impact on these ambassadors. They also went out into the community and, like you said, pay it forward. So they were trying to communicate your message and spread it into the larger inner city community and try to really make a difference. And did it make a difference?
Absolutely. I mean, we've had reports from Pittsburgh where they've gone into the schools and started a Peacemaker Club in the junior high and high school. Got a report from Seattle, Redmond, Washington, where the principal of every elementary school runs the Peacemaker Corp for 6th graders. We have a report from Indianapolis of youth going out in the community every year to talk about peacemakers and how to be a peacemaker.
In the future, I understand you're planning on taking this program to 10 cities in the United States, and instead of 50 students, have 100 or 200 students and film a documentary to project your message to a greater audience. You want to tell me a little bit about that plan?
Thank you very much for asking. I really appreciate your interest in what we're planning on doing. What I see happening is so serious, the violence that's escalating, that we have to get everyone on board. And the only way we can do that in this day and age is with electronics. So I'm hoping to film a very exciting and controversial documentary. And part of the documentary will include our program. And once we have this in the can, I hope to be able to get it to every elementary school and junior high school in the country very inexpensively, so they can show the documentary and use our training program for the teachers and workbook for the youth, so that an assembly can happen in every high school or junior high school in the country, and we can get millions of youngsters learning about our program. When you reduce violence, it automatically increases the economy. By reducing violence across this country, not only are we going to create green shoots of economy growing in the urban cities of America, but we'll reduce the cost of putting people in prison, save lives, and bring us all back into a cooperative world where there are no haves and have-nots, but just all happy, cooperative, enjoyable, fun people. We can't waste youth in this country. It's our most valuable asset. If we can invest time, effort, and a little bit of money so that every youth in this country believes that they have an equal opportunity to grow and have a wonderful life, my heart tells me, my passion tells me that this world, this country, not only will be economically strong again, but will be a happy and peaceful place to live.
And what a wonderful message to create self-worth, self-esteem, and self-value in the inner city and, in fact, all youths across America.
Correct. For everybody, it's a win-win.